And obviously, if you like what you hear in this conversation, you get me, reach out to Chantelle. What's good, Chantelle? Welcome to the Red Chair.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
Yeah, good.
Yeah?
How are you?
I'm feeling amazing. I can't wait to have this conversation, meet another great person, have a good conversation, you get me, get to know you the same time as the people are getting to know you. So I'm not gonna lie, let's go, I'm looking forward to it. Like, how would you describe, like to get straight into it, how would you describe like the type of work that you do?
Transformational. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's taking a person out of one point in their life where they keep repeating the same cycle and being able to break that and transform how they feel and their reality at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we spoke about obviously off camera a little bit in terms of like everybody's got different minds in it. I think what I usually say is like this is the exciting thing about life, reality in general, innit? Because you've got so many human beings on this planet, but everybody, even though we might live in the same country or even siblings living in the same house, but mentally in this brain of ours, like a lot of us live in our completely different world, you get me, our own world, because obviously the way we perceive life and whatnot. Like with this work that you do, like how did it come up, like how did you start it and what made you want to help so many different people, like I said, with so many different minds?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I started this work when I went through. So I literally hit rock bottom with everything. Every area of your life you can imagine I hit rock bottom with, and I went on this healing journey, and from there I managed to really change everything in my life, and really start to understand why these things were happening and what it was linked to and what really needed that healing, and how I was thinking was not serving me at that time. Hence why everything was just like rolling into utter crap. And then once I did that journey, I was like, wow, this is like magic that I just need to give to everyone, as many people as I can. I just want to give it to them to be able to realize that they don't have to accept circumstances and situations, and they can change it. There is a way of changing it, but it's just teaching people how to be able to do that. So that is how it began.
In terms of like the word is trigger, innit? So like if we can obviously go into as much detail as we can, like I said, obviously this is for people to mainly get to know the work that you do, and obviously to tell people as much as you would like to share in terms of your personal story, innit? What got you to the person that you are now, innit? Because this is reality, right? So you see like relationships, like you see, because there's, like we said, there's intimate and there's friendships, right? So if we're talking about relationships in general, like for you, like in terms of experiencing, getting triggered, in terms of going on this journey that you just said that you went on, but now you're healed and you're helping other people. Like what happened first? What was the first like testing relationship in terms of like questioning like your loyalty or heartbreak? Was it like in intimate relationship or friendship, in terms of like what went wrong first, if you get where I'm coming from, in your life? Was it friendships or intimate? If you get where I'm coming from, what went wrong first?
Intimate
Okay.
relationship. And then once I started to actually understand what was going on there, it then opened up to all the other relationships that I had in my life. So family, friendships, even work scenarios with people, work colleagues. It makes you learn then what it is that you are tolerating, is what is going to happen. So it's learning your own worth and not tolerating things that are not good for you. Yeah.
You see when you said your worth and tolerating, yeah, you see the word, the first word that stuck out in my head was people pleasing, innit?
Yep.
And when I went through your page a little bit, even with my people, one of my cousins that I work with, he kept on saying like, yeah, one of the main things that keep on coming up like with her work that she does in terms of like helping people to stop pleasing, people pleasing, just like to just love themselves, also self-love as well. So like people pleasing, like did you ever go through like also like a period in your life where it's like you caught yourself for whatever reason like people pleasing?
Oh yeah, God, I was the worst people pleaser.
God damn.
In the world. Yeah. I was.
Let's talk about that a little bit, like people pleasing.
That people pleasing trait that people have is linked to a wound, It would be, for example, it could be an abandonment wound. So you end up pleasing people even when you don't, it doesn't feel right, or it doesn't feel good, or you know that you're not being treated correctly, but you'll please them because you don't want to lose them. But when you really start actually analysing and getting to that wound, that core wound that's within you, and start healing that, you realise that by you pleasing these people, what are you doing? Like you're betraying yourself by doing that. So it's having to do that inner work and really digging deep as to where it's coming from. So people pleasing is not a good trait to have, but it is linked to core wounds within you.
Yeah. And moving forward, like going back to what we spoke about in terms of like the first time you obviously experienced in terms of like heartache, however you might call it, it was an intimate relationship. Like looking back now after you doing all of this work on yourself, you know, like being the person that you are now, like I keep on saying, helping people, like would you say like when you got into that relationship, that intimate relationship that you're talking about, that you had issues with along, you know, as times went by, would you say like you wasn't ready, or would you say like you was ready, but it was maybe the other person that brought the issues that kind of triggered certain things, if you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I think, okay, so with my story, I started very young. I met my first partner when I was 12.
Okay.
And it wasn't a healthy relationship, and I was still learning.
Of course, you're 12.
I'm 12, exactly.
Jesus
so,
Christ,
yeah.
you're a baby still, you get me? So,
so yeah, so I fell madly in love, and I was like, this is it, like he's my everything. And we had children really young, we got married really young, but it just wasn't a healthy relationship. And I then went from that relationship, left that one, and jumped into another relationship, which was again same relationship. It was unhealthy, it was toxic, there was a lot of bad things that happened within that relationship. And then getting out of that relationship, and going into another one again, it was the same cycle. So you see, it was a cycle.
You were skipping.
Yeah, I was like skipping from one bad person to another.
I'm not laughing at your pain, by the way. I'm just laughing at just because a lot of people do it, innit? That sometimes for whatever reason, one relationship to another, rather than finish. Sorry to cut you, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Because I know so many people that I got to a point where, I'll be honest with you, I used to do that as well, but I got to a point where it's like I'm realizing, like I need to give myself a break. Like after this relationship, I need to, for me myself, like when I'm doing work on myself, I realized after this relationship, I need to give myself like a break to really, really like dive deep, to really like ask myself what went wrong. Was it my fault? Was it her fault? Because the last thing that I want to do is get into another relationship and the same bullshit, like excuse my English, the same nonsense pops up, because that's what kept on happening. Certain things just kept on popping up. You get me? So that's why even I've been single for nearly 2 years. Because I'm thinking, I need to just work certain things out rather than taking my baggage or like my nonsense into another person's life, you get me? Because I think that's quite selfish. It's like, that's the way I looked at it anyway. But going back to you, you kept on hopping into one relationship to another, yeah?
So it's good, like I think that's brilliant that you're taking that space to really, and self-reflecting as well.
Absolutely,
but I went through that, jumping from relationship to relationship, and then I got to a point where I was just like, I can't actually do this anymore. Something isn't right. And then it's like I had to really dig deep as to what it was. So embarked on that real deep healing journey and doing that inner work, so where I was able to unlock, because it's all linked to childhood, and that's what then plays out in our relationships when we're older. So if we don't heal our inner child, our inner child is going to end up playing out in our adulthood. So it was going back to, it was understanding, okay, what wounds are there, what's happened, like, you know, what, you know, in misjustment, I can't even talk, I don't think that's the right words, justice, that's it, not misjustment, misjustice. You know, looking at what wounds are held there. So for me, it was like an abandonment wound, you know, and that's what was playing out. So every time I would end up in these relationships, it was very easy for me to end up in these relationships, because someone would easily be able to manipulate and feed me and say, oh, you know, I love you, and then they'll drop you, and then they'll create a trauma bond with you. So you're constantly running back to that person because you're wanting to feel and, you know, feel that wound that's playing out in it all. So until you really face up to it and really go deep and heal it, really connect with your inner child, really work out, you know, what's happened, and, you know, understand that actually, you know what, you know, this has happened, but it doesn't make you who you are. You know, that's not who you are. You are, you know, someone who's worth so much more. When you start believing that, and you start working on your mindset as well to make sure that that's reprogramming in the subconscious,
Bingo, your subconscious,
that's how you're able to then change your reality.
Yeah.
But you have to want to do it, and it is such a hard journey. It is. It's deep, and it's, you know, it's, you really got to wrench out all that emotion that you suppress inside. But once you really do it, that's the magic, and that's how you're able to transform what it is that you know, transform your life basically, and attracting the right people. Once I did this, I noticed, and even with dating, I would end up meeting same people, but I was very quick on it, being able to cut them straight away, because I would automatically realize, you know, what it was I was attracting in. So now I've done that work, I've noticed I'm not actually attracting any of that anymore. So any of that toxicity, or it's like it's stopped. So now you start meeting a different breed of person,
and different energies start coming into your life.
Exactly.
Better energies that eventually could be better for you.
Yeah.
Rather than keep on triggering you in terms of like some of the traumas that you might have before.
Yeah.
Like even for me, like the work that when I went on my journey as well, I realized like before people kept on saying like mommy issues. You know, like for some guys, like you got mommy issues. I was thinking, what are you like talking about? But then when I started, you know, like diving in, you know, doing the internal work, I started realizing, yeah, because my relationship with my mum wasn't really the best. It's quite good now, but it wasn't really the best, innit? So that's why before I didn't really understand it, but like I said, I started really understanding, okay, this is what people were talking about, this and that. And like going back to you, like, why do you think another thing that fascinates me with humans is you got two types of humans, innit? You got one type like you right in front of us who decided like, you know what, forget this, let me dive in and do the work because I can't do this anymore, you get me? Like you said, it's not easy. When you go on this journey, like it's crazy, innit? So many different things you unpack, and it's like you just need to keep on going, because you know once you get to the other side and you've healed, it's like it's gonna be more than worth it. But then you got another types of people where it's like, this is why I might need your help to explain to me. Like some people, it's like they're scared. It's like some people, it's like for whatever reason, they would rather basically stay in the bullshit. Sometimes, excuse my English, sometimes I'm just blunt, innit? And some people, for whatever reason, yeah, they would rather stay in the nonsense and keep on, you know, having these traumas in their heads and never heal, rather than saying, I know it's going to hurt when I'm doing the work, but I need to do it for myself, innit? So why do you think some people like are scared to heal or to go on this journey of healing?
It's comfort zone. So it's what they know. So for them to go into something, you know, into the unknown, most people aren't going to step into that. There's going to be fear around that. There's going to be, you don't know. It's going to be how you're programmed as well. So, you know, how you were raised, you know, what was instilled in you as a child, and even now as an adult with your families, you know, it's watching, it's when you do this work, you then look at what it is that you're surrounded with, and you realize that actually everyone is still in that cycle, you know, and they will be quick to put you in your place, you know, try and put you in a place, what they will think is to put you in your place, but that's not your place. You know, that is you'll realize that when you start doing the work, and you end up losing a lot, but you will gain better. But yeah, it comes from like what you're surrounded with, the friendships, the family, you know, what you've had programmed within you from a young age up until now.
Yeah.
So that's why. And
I also, one thing I realised as well with certain people who don't want to heal, people have got attachment issues, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a big one.
Some people have got attachment issues, either attachment to their families, attached to this, and they feel like for whatever reason they can't let go in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just always wonder but also as well, once again, after going on my own journey, I started realising that I started having more sympathy for certain people, like understanding that, like, this is gonna sound a bit mad, but it's reality, innit? Not everybody's going to heal in this lifetime, you get me, for whatever reason, like I said, because some people are just not ready for it, you know, like you said, the key word there that you said, comfort zone, innit? Some people would literally rather stay in their comfort zone for the rest of their life rather than opening that door to just go on this incredible journey. You get me? So, like, would you say where you are now in terms of like relationships, like intimate, and obviously friendships as well? Would you say that you've mastered in terms of like how to have and keep a healthy relationship, a healthy and happy relationship? Like I said, either intimately or friend work. You've mastered it, yeah.
Yeah, and I can like
tell these people, man.
You can, when you do it, you realize what's good for you and what isn't good for you. So, and you're able to see red flags. So with, you know, you end up getting tested. This is like a big part of the journey.
The universe tests you. Are you ready? Are you
exactly
gonna slip up again?
It's true. So you do this work, and then it's like you're like, yeah, do you know what? I am better. I am stronger. I know my worth, and I love myself. And then the universe is like, here you go. Do you really? And that's, you know, you do. It's something that you just end up mastering. You know you just pick up on it. You really, because you're so connected to yourself, your intuition speaks and you're able to hear it. You listen to it. When that gut is saying, this is not for you. Yeah. And before that, you know, the pre-version would be like, I'm still going to walk into the fire. Because there's a little bit, you know, a few good sparks coming off of it. Yeah. But it's comfort because it's what you know. It's how, you know, it's been for you. That's how your life has gone. It's the cycles you've gone through. It's comfortability. Even though it's uncomfortable, it's comfortable. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, being able to know now, it's, you know, you're able to see red flags and you know that isn't what's right for you. And because you've already taken that uncomfortable step and you've stepped into it and you've done that work and it's been really hard to do, you're more comfortable in yourself, so you're able to step into the right places with the right people and feel comfortable because you've already walked through the fear. So if that fear comes up, you're okay because you know that on the other side of it it's going to be good, rather than walking into something that's just going to make you feel like rubbish because you've got that bit of that comfortable feeling of what you know. Because you're just going to end up regretting it anyway. So, yeah.